Here's what it looks like on short final to runway 6 at Potomac Airfield in Maryland. The threshold is displaced about 370 feet as shown by the ruler here on Google Earth. As we know, displaced thresholds can be used for taxi and takeoff but not for landing. Any approach to land, whether instrument or otherwise, should be to touch down after the end of the displaced threshold. This is the objective of instrument approaches like ILS or LPV. The vertical guidance respects the threshold displacement, which is often there to prevent you smacking into terrain on short final. Here at Potomac Airfield, though, there is no vertical guidance on the instrument approach, the RNAV to runway 6. The approach ends in LNAV minimums. With a WAAS GPS, this approach can make use of an advisory glide path to allow for a continuous descent on final approach. But where does that continuous descent take us to? The profile view on the FAA chart is a bit vague. It shows a constant angle descent terminating before the runway and leveling off at what looks like the MDA. Sometimes on these plates, you'll see a vertical descent angle published, with the angle which takes you from the descent down to the published threshold crossing height. That angle is not shown here because of the note at the top saying visual segment obstacles. There's obstacles that get too close to that vertical descent angle below the MDA, so the designers don't want you looking at that. Luckily, the Jeppesen plate can provide more insight. It also has that visual segment obstacles note, but the vertical descent angle is shown. It's 3.01 degrees, which takes us to a threshold crossing height, or TCH, of 40 feet. Still, where exactly do we cross at 40 feet? Is it the threshold or the beginning of the displaced threshold? This is important. If we're being taken down to the displaced threshold, we're lower than we would be on a purely visual approach, and we'd have to worry a bit more about those obstacles below us. Here's what's actually happening. The displaced threshold can be visualized as being located before the black runway depiction. The 40 feet of the threshold crossing height occurs at the actual runway threshold. So that dotted line takes us right over the threshold at 40 feet, not to the beginning of the displaced threshold. From the cockpit, that looks like this. Note that it's not proper to fly the advisory glide path below the MDA. Just like on any non-precision approach, we should transition to a visual approach and follow the PAPI lights, which may or may not coincide with the advisory glide path. In this case, the lights are red over red. But that's not because the advisory glide path is taking us to the displaced threshold, it's just how the lights are set up on this smaller runway. And in fact, as we'll see in a bit, we're really just a hair below having red over white, being perfectly on that PAPI glide slope. For demonstration purposes, we're going to fly the advisory glide path all the way down. Notice the GPS-derived height above the ground, which will give us a good idea of what our threshold crossing height will be. When we're over the displaced threshold, we're still higher than that 40-foot published threshold crossing height. When we do see 40 feet, we are in fact at the threshold. Also note those PAPIs are now red over white, so we were just on the edge of the visual glide path the whole time too. So while you should certainly never rely on the advisory glide path below the MDA on any approach, it's good to know that it's designed to give you a continuous descent to the MDA, which you can continue all the way down to the runway while flying visually, without having to adjust your descent rate to clear the displaced threshold. IFR pilots are getting smarter every day training with us at Flight Insight Ground School. Join us today at the link here and in the description.